Hello friends, I have a new piece of equipment, piece of gear as they say, new to me anyway. This is a circa 1992 Yamaha SY77 music synthesizer, and I used to meddle with this sort of thing. When this thing was new, I was kind of into that kind of thing a little bit, but since then I haven't really done anything. You know, hey, what are you going to do if you're not talented? You know, you're just messing around. So anyway, I know my way around a synthesizer at least. So this is one that at the time there was no way that I'd be able to afford it. This was like a $3,000 piece of gear, which in today's money is what, $5,000, $4,500. So this thing was the top of the line. The only other higher end one from Yamaha was the SY99. This one I happened to see on Facebook Marketplace, local to me, and I decided to pick it up because it's missing something. There should be a 3.5-inch floppy disk drive there, and it's missing. And of course, being the large Gotek seller on eBay that I am, people are always asking me how to add it or if it works with their equipment. And this is a pretty good example of what it would take, at most what it would take to get a Gotek working on one of these. So hopefully somebody finds this video useful. I might do a couple of videos on this because this also has a common symptom with these in the fact that it has noise, a little bit of a whine coming out of the outputs, and people are saying that it's the LCD driver is basically causing that to happen. So there's a pretty popular upgrade by changing it to a newer LCD, but we'll have to see. This thing also has a few scratches on it. That's a good one there through the paint. And some of the buttons are worn. The labels on the buttons are kind of worn off. That I found out was the exit button. It was saying hit exit and I couldn't find it. Also, the buttons on this unit, some of them, especially the voice button, which is kind of important because it's how you switch it back to just a playing mode, and it takes quite a bit of force or multiple presses to get it to register. So it's got some dirty switches on it. So, but for this video, I'm just going to cover switching out the Gotek drive since it's the least intrusive. Another thing that needs to be done to these keyboards, if it hasn't already been done, and we're going to find that out when we take it apart, is there is actually a small battery inside that holds the memory, and that can go bad. And there's your standard CR2032 replacement that people do to it. So if that hasn't been done, I'm going to do that for sure. But this video is just going to focus on the Gotek. This thing is fully functional. Other than that, it actually has a pretty cool test mode that you can go through. Anyway, so join me for this, and we'll get this done. Anyway, so let me zoom into this. There's our 26-pin header for the drive. For now, we're going to need some kind of adapter for the 26 to 34 pin. Just going to make a cable real quick. I have another, I don't have any 26-pin cables. I'm kind of prototyping this at the moment. Alright, Frankenstein is done. This is just temporary, but permanent if it works, right? No. Yeah, so it's kind of unique. Obviously the 12 is not hooked up. We got the 5. So the 5 volts is coming over this ribbon cable, which is odd. You know what I should do before I do any of this? Is I should go ahead, hey cat, that's not helpful. No, that's not helpful. That's not helpful. Come on. After telling people to always go to the Flash Floppy host devices page to configure their devices, it actually turns out the SY77 instructions only says put the jumper on S0, and that's not actually correct. It doesn't mention JC either, so the correct jumper positions are MO, which is a jumper that goes sideways between S1 and S0, and then the JC one, which goes in the regular orientation this way. So you take the jumper that's in either S1 and S0, rotate it, and put it on the first two pins, 1, 2 on that side. And sure enough, it works. And the best test is to see if it formats, and it does. It will format. I made an image using WinImage. If you download WinImage, it's like a free trial for 30 days or whatever, so there's that. But so maybe you can use another one that doesn't eventually cost money. So now I'm going to go ahead and design a PCB and get them ordered and assemble them, I should say, and then get them up on eBay for sale. I loaded a sequence, a song that I downloaded, and it played just fine. It's actually disc 1, disc 01 or whatever, so you know, not really much of a song. It's just bum ba ba bum ba 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 ba. It's just like a bass line or whatever. It didn't load instruments, so it was playing in piano and it sounded awful. But what's nice is I was able to just go from song to voice, just hit the voice button and just change the voice until it was something that sounded correct as a bass, you know. So anyway, all right, well, I'm going to turn the camera off here because some time is going to pass before I get my stuff organized and ordered and stuff, so I will return to you in an instant. Meanwhile, weeks have passed. Okay, so a few weeks have passed and I did some prototyping and I came up with a solution of my own. So check the description for a link to my eBay store because I'm selling this adapter that will let you plug one of my Goteks or any other Gotek that you might have straight into an SY77 and an SY99. So anyway, I made two different models. One of them has the connector on the other side. The other one has the connector on both sides. I think that's one thing that might set me apart with other sellers on eBay, is that they don't really mention anything about having it fully tested on an actual unit. And since I have a SY77, why not? I like to sell things that I fully test. Anyway, so I've got one installed in the Gotek. Basically, I think I'm going to ship them like this. That way it's pretty self-explanatory. You just plug it in with the 34 pin and then you plug in the little power into this power connector, just like you see me done here. See me, just like you have seen, just like you see here. Anyway, so everything fits pretty well. I see other people, I saw some examples of people doing some weird stuff. You gotta move the ribbon cable out of the way. You know, maybe they were missing something or whatever, but if you, again, this SY77 came with no drive, but it did have the bracket, fortunately. And as long as you have this bracket, the Goteks that I sell come with screws, so all you should ever need for upgrading this drive, if you buy from me, is to buy the Gotek and to buy the adapter, and you're good to go. So this will just plug in here. And then all I have to do is just screw these into place, and then I'll flip this over and we'll test. Okay, so I'm just going to power it on. First sign that we did things right is we've got the flash floppy logo, so we've got power to it. And I'm going to go ahead and stick a thumb drive in. I have an image selected. It's got a few files on it. So we will go to the utility, which we already are because I was using this earlier. And we're going to say load from disk, enter. We're going to say all data, enter. Okay, it just loaded an index of the files that are on that disk. And now I'm just going to pick the first one, go. Now executing. Hopefully you can see that it says now executing. And we've got this loading. Get a good, there you go. I have Goteks that have a speaker in them. That's an example of this one. I don't know if you can hear it. It's a very faint speaker. Usually not an issue for musicians. But if you want to, I also sell Goteks without a speaker. Okay, so it looks like we're completed. So, and there it is. So it successfully loaded that image. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Sorry I'm not going to demonstrate the sound or whatever. I don't have any audio plugged into it. I'm just testing the functionality of the Gotek right now. This keyboard does work fine, other than it didn't have a floppy drive. Yeah, so anyway, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time. By the way, I have already ordered the LCD replacement screen for this. It's kind of cool that, well, not cool, I mean, the thing is, this is a broken keyboard in regards to the fact that if you put your ear close to the display, you can hear a ringing sound. And unfortunately, that ringing sound is also coming out of the outputs. And I did a Google search of that, and they say that the power supply or power inverter, converter, whatever, for the LCD, after the unit ages a bit, starts to ring, make noise, and it actually comes out of the output. So this keyboard has noise on the output, so that's pretty much useless. So anyway, in the next video, I'm going to replace the OLED, or I mean, sorry, the LCD with one of those nice blue backlit ones, using instructions I found on the internet that other people have done. Somebody did a white paper on it showing exactly what they did. All right, thanks guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.